activism movement.
Watching the event today.
Why, in
Black
your
Lives Matter,
opinion,
guys. Black
was it
Lives Matter.
George Floyd's death? Why was that the chosen brutality for people to say, oh my God, black people are still oppressed in this country, and it is not fair?
I think it's twofold, Carrie. In so many different encounters between people of color and the police, there simply is no proof of what happened in the interaction. And so what happens is in a court of law, it tends to lean towards the policeman's point of view, right? In this case, we saw very clearly what happened. I think the other thing is
B-Mac, where are
the
you?
fact that everyone was at home, basically, during this time period in relation to the coronavirus. You couldn't avoid it, right? It was on every television station. It was on every social media platform. Everywhere you turn, you were constantly hit upside the head with this message. You see in the interaction that this man did nothing to deserve
Black Lives Matter.
What happened.
Black Lives Matter.
So well said, because if you think about it,
even though I'm white,
the grand scheme of things,
you're not white.
It wasn't worth it, and he didn't have to lose his life. I think that you touched on something that a lot of people talk about. And that is now defunding the police. That has been such a huge conversation, but there's so many misconceptions around defunding and dismantling. If you will, educate the audience.
All right, so most people, when
Quiet.
they hear the term defund the police, they tend to think of, oh, they're going to take away our police department. Nothing could be further from the point. Defunding the police means
George Floyd was a very hard-working man.
We have over $1 billion allocated to our police force.
He was
now,
a
what does that money mean?
Quiet!
All of that money tends to be allocated towards riot shield.
Bro, be quiet, bro.
Right?
6 hours a day.
Only used against the people that fund this budget, right? So why would the people want to supply the police with the means to oppress them? If the police are concerned about the situation in certain communities with a higher crime rate, well,
is that
higher
you?
crime rates tend to
No, I'm over here on the zip line.
There's
Quiet.
not there's not employment opportunities, right?
Bro, be
There's not
quiet.
services.
Actually.
People are going to do what they need to do to take care of themselves and their families. When the community has more opportunities for employment, more opportunities for upward mobility, then they tend to be a less of a strain on the government. They tend to have a lower crime rate, and because of that, we'll have less need for the police in those communities.
You are passionate about so many different things in terms of making sure that we are holding our leaders accountable. Talk to me about some of the other projects that you're on.
Well, right now, obviously, being a part of More Than a Vote is essential. We're dealing with primaries in this country right now, and we just want to educate people. We want to inform people because people are tired, they're angry, they're concerned, and they want information and they want action. And so we want to make sure that we give them the right information and lead them in the right direction. And we thank the people that do not look like us for standing with us right now, because it's very important that people who aren't black be involved, because if black people could have gotten rid of racism, we would have done it hundreds of years ago. And so I'm trying to use my voice and my platform just to let people know that if they feel like I do, there's a number of places they can go to enact change in their community. People need to know about how their city council runs. They need to know that they have the ability to speak when city council meets, to let them know that that's not the way that they feel their city needs to be run. Those are not the places that they feel the money of their community needs to be allocated.
And Bubby, even a step further, they can run for office in their local community. They can run for positions. Like, people act like they leave it up to somebody else. If you're upset, it's not hard to get on the school board. It's not hard to be a part of the
Black Lives Matter, everybody.
Black Lives Matter!
Black Lives Matter.
Put it the freaking fist. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter.
You know, if you look at Trayvon Martin's mother, Sabrina Fulton.
No, Black Lives Matter, though.
She felt that there was a system of racism and a system of oppression.
Comment down BLM. Comment down BLM. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. BLM. Comment down right now. BLM.
Say only Black Lives Matter? Really, all lives matter.
What did you just say?
People say not only Black Lives Matter and people's lives matter.
I was about to say, bro, like, don't say that in front of everyone, cause there you go, Garrett. BLM. Black Lives Matter.
I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you this. When
I got all this still.
My brothers, I have to ask you, as a black man, how are you okay?
I'm good. I have a very strong relationship with God, so prayer definitely works for me. I have children and grandchildren who are watching me, who are encouraged by what I do, and they're proud of me right now, you know, and that's really what matters, you know. The change starts at home, you know, so as long as you have a support system that believes in what you're doing and supports you in what you're doing, You have
Black
everything you need to go out
lives
there and fight the good fight.
freaking
And for
matter.
those that don't, there's a community of people here to help you. So you can go to places like morethanavote.org. There are many different places that will encourage you, inform you, and they will put you with groups of people that feel like you, that are ready to take
Black
part.
Lives
No one
Matter!
has to go about this alone if they want to do it.
We're stronger together. People have been saying it, but that has much more meaning now that we are in our movement, not just this moment.
Black lives freaking matter, y'all. Black lives matter! Yo! Let's go.
Keep up the good fight.
Black lives freaking matter, y'all.
Keep fighting, guys!
Yeah, la la.
So our next guest, I have to admit, I'm a fan, but there are so many different people that we could talk to.
Black Lives Matter!
That we speak with her. You know her as Molly on the huge, successful show Insecure.
Black Lives Matter!
Insecure. She also has a comedy special.
Black Lives Matter.
And
Keep fighting, guys!
Put on face down.
Let's welcome in, Yvonne.
Why?
You have such a beautiful way of
Sure
making
won't.
things funny. Giving us our medicine with some candy, right? The humor and the healing. You bring all of that to your space. And right now, as you look across this country and how everyone is so broken and so upset, if it's not social injustice, it's the pandemic, it's depression, it's employment, the list goes on and on. How are you?
This is low-key boring.
You know, I'm rediscovering self in a way that is hard but necessary, that will lead to ultimate joy. I know it sounds like a lot, but no, I think I personally think that God put all of us on a global timeout.
Look at what I said. Look at what I
America hasn't
posted.
done as
I
good
know.
as other people when it comes to timeouts, because everyone else is
Yes.
out playing at recess. And
Black
we're really
lives.
looking to the principal's office, hoping and wishing he can come out.
Are you even looking at your
Yes, I can see, dumbass.
To the timeout and really learn the lesson that we're supposed to learn from
Wait, Elijah, when did your phone break?
We'll learn how to play well with others in more ways.
When did I ask?
And so personally for me, I'm taking this time to
Throwing
learn
out
me
gang
in a
signs
new
too,
way. I feel like I'm
cuz.
being ushered into a new season, and I'm getting still, because sometimes the busy confounds the work that we're supposed to actually be doing.
Bro, I'm so
we're busy doing other stuff, but we got work that we
good
need
at
to
this
do on the
game.
inside.
Bro!
I'm leaning into it. I'm like, dang, I thought I was gonna be able to rest like everybody else. And these guys like, now we got work to do.
You know what? And I think that's what everybody is saying about 2020. It's
Bro,
demanding that we do better. And you said it's a global timeout. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, it's like everyone sit down, be humble, to quote the great prophet Kendrick Lamar. But like, no, seriously, sit down and let's reevaluate some things. Let us unearth and shake up the things that we have been trying to hide within ourselves, within our nation. I think America is going through an unraveling right now, a much needed, a much necessary one. And I think,
Bro, be quiet.
right? There is no, I was on the subway for an hour.
No, she lied. I can take it.
Everybody was home. Everybody, was watching when George Floyd died, and no one could hide it. Everyone was watching when Amy Cooper called the cops. Like, this is a time where it's like, we can't pretend it away. We can't excuse it away. No. It's a global timeout. Sit down, watch, and let's learn. And globally, it's like, hey, we were going business as usual, but it ain't usual no more. Like, that's old. Anytime change occurs, it's very uncomfortable. And so right now we're
Elijah, get on the zip line.
We're getting comfortable.
The minorities, we've been comfortable with being uncomfortable because that to me explains just the existence for whatever we want to do, how we break into our careers, how we live our lives, how we find ourselves one of the few or one of the first. And that's a lonely road. When you look at, and when you talk about this global timeout, everybody had to pay attention to Amy Cooper. Everyone had to pay attention to George Floyd. How is that helping us as a people, as a country during our global timeout?
I think, well, one, we're not minorities, Carrie. You already know it. It's like these labels that they put on us. It's like the same way of saying like black on black violence. Also, there's no white on white violence. It's branding.
Yeah,
right. It's all branding.
You're right.
It's like white people kill white people every single day. So no, there is no black on black violence. And if you say black on black violence, then let's brand white on white violence. Like I watched Investigation Discovery. Ain't too many of us. So, I just even like, but to answer your question, what does that do? I think what everyone expected is what has happened in the past when the world was still open, right? In that, okay, you had everyone from Trayvon Martin to Castillo to Sandra Bland. You had all of these lives lost, and black people made some noise. We rioted, we got out in the street, we started the Black Lives Matter movement, all of those things. And then white people kind of just like, oh, let's give them something, and then it's just like, is it over? It's like Oscar so Black.
Bro, we're
Just
watching the
looking
event
at
right
the
now.
Oscars. Are we good now?
Well, for real?
Yeah.
And now it's just like,
What
no,
country
no,
would
no,
you?
no, no. This is not about like,
I like what y'all got.
Yeah.
it's like, yo, we gonna amputate the leg a little bit, but it's right because we gonna by amputating the leg, we gonna save the body. And so I think that's what's happening now. Like America is realizing, like, oh, black people aren't just making a little bit of noise. Like the protests are still out, the conversations are still being had, the change is still being demanded, and I think they're seeing, oh, this is not going no way, and no, it's not because we need systematic change.
What a beautiful way to explore what is happening and describe our country. We might have to amputate the leg, but that's to save the body. That's what's happening right now. That's beautiful, Yvonne. And to that end, I have to ask you this, because the way that we do that, we use our voice. And our voice right now in this world, in this country, is our vote. And everyone talks about voting and how important it is, but I feel like more than ever we understand that it's not just about voting every 4 years for the man in office. It's about your local elections. It's about the mayor. It is about the district attorney, the people who have the power
They
to
like comment
bring
down
charges
BLM.
against police if police brutality is an issue in your community. If you care about your school district, you can run for the school board. I ask this of you, right? Your parents are from Nigeria. You are Nigerian. You talk about that very lovingly. What does voting mean for you?
I think voting is power. I remember, I became a naturalized citizen back in the 90s when, because I was still a minor, my mom naturalized, and so we were able to do it under her. And just even that power of like, we are American citizens and all the access that we have by being citizens, one of those accesses and those access to power being voting. It's a big deal. It's a big deal because not only do we have the opportunity to be in this country, but now we can be of the country. We can be of the systems. We can be of the rules. We can be of what it actually affords. But I think going back to your earlier comment about just the setup of systems, I think we are done a disservice either at schools or whatever it is. And I'm not putting teachers on blast. I think teachers do a phenomenal job, but for some reason, we do not, and give them all the raises. I know too many parents who are like, this child of mine, I do love them, but hey, where can I drop them off? And I do think that there's a disservice done because, again, when we talk about voting, to your point, we talk about every 4 years. It's important to vote for the presidency. We don't realize, like, oh, snap, we actually can vote about, like, how much our libraries get. It's like small things like that, but they make a big difference.
When you think of voter suppression in this country, what does it look like for you?
It's the systems. When we talk about voter suppression, we also talk about systematic racism, right? It's all the systems that set up, and we normalize. Okay, maybe your job will give you a half day, or maybe you'll be able to get this luxury. It shouldn't be a luxury. It should be built into the system. It should be built into the fabric of how we vote. But maybe you'll be able to get this luxury in order to enable you to go vote. Think about everything disenfranchised, marginalized black person has to endure in a day. So in a day, you need to get to work. If something happens to your car, if something happens to your child care, if something happens to, there's so many factors along the way that can send you into a tailspin as an American. And then you add on as a person of color. If you're just trying to get to vote and you already have to go through all of these hurdles and hoops in your everyday life, imagine the one day when your voice really is supposed to matter the most in this country. But then you also see all the times that you tried to have your voice matter, and then it's been shut down, repressed, told it doesn't matter, and then you're kind of like, what's the point?
How do we keep hope though? If I'm watching this right now, how do we as a people stay hopeful? How do we believe in the promise that these quote unquote forefathers have given us?
Because have you met black people? By the frogs. Like hope is infused in our DNA. Like you know what I'm saying? Like by the like if we haven't been broken down through be it through slavery, through
Give
capitalism,
it to me.
through
Give it to me.
colonization, through segregation, through I mean look the history of black people in this country is at one point we were 3/5 people. That's it. That was a written law. And look at us now. We are home. We are Black Girl Magic. We are Black Boy Joy. We are, you know what I'm saying? What I think about in terms of giving us hope, right? We're making a lot of people nervous right now, Carrie. We're making a lot of people nervous right now because they're like, dang, we put all these obstacles in their way, and these jokers are resilient. But that should give us hope. That should give us hope that like we can't stop, won't stop. I mean, I went to the school of Diddy. You know what I'm saying? Hashtag, Harlem shaking it right now. Can't stop, won't stop. And I think that's our motto. We can't stop voting and we won't stop voting. We can't stop marching and we won't stop marching. We can't stop thriving and we won't stop thriving.
To that end, because you led me directly there, I've been asking everyone who's appeared on this platform, what does activism look like? And I feel like back in the day, we had an idea. Yes, it is marching. Yes, it is protesting. Yes, it is speaking out against things that we feel are not right or unjust. But talk to me about what activism looks like for Yvonne Orji.
Listen, activism, I think the beauty of activism is that it has many
Make sure you guys
faces,
subscribe
right?
and leave a like.
You're going to have the people on the front lines. Like, you know what? Martin Luther King marched, but there were a lot of women who were in the homes like, hey, BT Dubs, when they come back, this is how we support all the people who are marching on the front lines. And we're going to be here doing what we know to do best here. And you know what? Somebody needs to bail them out of jail so now we need to be in the community, getting money or whatever it is. So it's like everybody has a position to play. And so play your position like a shortstop, bro. So whoever you are and whatever you do, play your position. So activism could look like, you know what? I'm not the one that's built to be on the front line, but you know what? My pockets go deep, so I'm gonna support the people on the front line. You know, I'm a comedian. Black joy is a form of activism.
There's always a call for entertainers or celebrities that have the platform to do something. Why aren't you speaking out? I'm not a believer in thinking that it's mandatory. Like you said, everyone can be an activist and be activated in different ways. But talk to me about the connection. Talk to me about the marginalization in your world and how you feel like it even inspires you to say more and use your platform to do more.
Beneath the surface of what we do, like Nash says, it's the who, right? The who is the person who's going to be like, hey, let me call this out. Either blind racism, in terms of overt racism, in terms of ways that we can be better, in terms of ways that we can actually be more uplifting to the community that you may not even realize that you're serving.
Before I let you go, talk to me about the urgency, in your opinion, for people to vote, our people to get out and vote this coming election.
Yeah, I mean, guys, nine. If you think you're tired now, I'm telling you right now, we cannot take this sitting down. We can't take this joking. I understand that it may be hard to figure out who to vote for, but at the end of the day, we got to vote for our families. We got to vote for our legacies. We got to vote for continued progress. We have to vote for upward mobility. We have to vote for equality in a way that is long lasting. And if we succeeded before, we can do it again. You talk about the hope. This is the time. This is not the time to give up. This is not the time to pretend a way that we haven't made progress. We have. There's still much more to be done. And you know what? We might have to get to a point where we pass the baton to our children and our children's children, but we still have work to do now for that generation.
Yvonne Orji, you are everything. You are Molly, but you are not Molly. But I love you so much as Molly on HBO's Insecure. You are an amazing podcaster, Jesus and Joel. Shout out to Lovey. And then we also have movies. Like you, The World. You're a model, a cover model. Also, wait, don't let me forget your hugely successful stand-up comedy special on HBO. Girl, you're doing it all. And I am so grateful. You're truly the dream, not just the American dream. You're the black girl, brown girl, do it all dream, the immigrant dream, everything. You're beautiful, beautiful.
Black girl, brown girl, dream.
Yvonne Orji, ladies and gentlemen, nothing but the best and an excellence personified. Thank you so much.
I'm gonna keep this up for like 5 more minutes. Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, la la.
So Atlanta has been one of the hotbeds in terms of political unrest and social injustice. We've seen so much happen in that city, and we've also seen so much come from that city, including one of our very own founding fathers of the civil rights movement, that's Martin Luther King Jr. But right now, we want to welcome in someone who has used his platform to talk about voting, to talk about racial injustice, and how he's trying to help Atlanta's very own Russ.
No.
Russ, I'm not going to fan out and tell you what some of my favorite songs are that I reread like yours. We're going to get to the topic at hand. So we got to talk about recently you did
Yo, be quiet. Be quiet. Why are you yelling?
Cause he's got.
As like it's very obvious I'm white and I'm in black culture and I'm benefiting financially off of it. So I feel like if you're a white person financially benefiting off of black culture, you have to put finances back in the black culture. It's just that simple. The screenshots with your feelings, it just comes off like fake empathy because it comes off very dismissive and
This is
very,
gonna be very long and boring.
oh, that sucks for y'all. But anyway, back to what I was doing.
Have you felt that way always, or is it now because of the time of where we are in this country?
I've always had the feeling. I think now it's just obviously.
Alright guys, I'm actually gonna end the stream. I'll probably stream it tomorrow like the rest of the video. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video.
First of all, you can't say
Leave a like, please.
Second of all, though,
Thank
I
you.
just think
Because
saying
let's
something
go.
isn't enough anymore. I think, if you have the ability to put money